Day here, a little bit partly cloudy most of the day. Very cool this morning, very breezy. We actually wore sweatshirts today. It was almost like fall weather, but then it turned into later this afternoon quite warm. The baby even went in the pool, so it wasn't too bad. It'll probably be a cool night, and I'm thinking tomorrow will probably be kind of cool too. Just saying, if it doesn't rain, because we've been getting rain like every day, especially on the days when we have a workshop. So we're one day out from the JAHealing Gardening and Self-Sufficiency Workshop. Tomorrow is the second one in a row out of 5 weeks that we're putting on this time. Not just the ladies are invited, men can join, couples can join, whoever is interested in learning more about becoming less reliant upon the system and more reliant upon yourself, growing your own food, growing your own medicines, making sure that you have healthy organic produce for your family. This year I also added chickens, so that's a whole nother level of self-sufficiency that I'm looking forward to. These gals are fun to be with. They're really good learning experience for me as well as my baby. She's 3 and she knows what to do ish. She's following me and watching, and she knows who they are, and she's getting to know their temperaments, and that's important. Learning your animals is a very important part of keeping animals, right? Knowing their behaviors and knowing what's normal and what's abnormal so that you can keep an eye on their health and well-being, as well as your own. You got to know their temperaments. So, yeah, what am I doing today? Oh, yes, I called it fall planting. I am getting our fall planting done. I'm in hardiness zone 6. We're in Niagara here, and we have probably 5 weeks of summer left. I think that's what it is now, 5 weeks, and we're right into fall. You got to be prepared here, and you've got to really be on it because we have a shorter season than many people do. Wherever you live, you might have a much longer growing season. But for us, we really need to jam pack it. And I need to do staggered planting. So I'm not just doing one planting. I did a spring planting. I'm doing a summer planting. I'm doing a fall planting. And I'll even do some winter stuff because I have a greenhouse and I have a hoop house. And I have this gazebo that I cover with poly. I call it the cube. So I have the cube. Each one has different qualities to it. Each one I have to plant different things and treat them in different ways. It's a lot. I am really not looking forward to winter. It's a long season for us, and it just seems to last forever and ever and ever. It just takes so long to get out here and get some nice weather because we're in it till probably end of May. That's when we start planting. So it could snow in October. It's possible. And our season's done, basically, unless you have fall planting in things that are a little bit cold hardy and snow hardy. I do have some things that are going into the ground that will tolerate some snow, that will grow for me, throughout the winter, especially in the hoop house, especially in the cube. But they will grow under the snow to a great degree if you feel like going out there and digging them up. What else? So that's what I'm doing today. So what am I planting? What are fall things? You have to plant things that have time to mature, right? So a lot of greens, leafy greens, dark leafy greens, they do very well. They tolerate cold. They'll tolerate frost. They'll tolerate some snow. So I'm putting in, I've got collards and I've got mustards and I've got chicory going in and I have cabbages already started. All those beautiful root crops, beets and radishes, carrots, I shouldn't say all because parsnips, they take way too long. It takes a whole season, a whole summer for them to mature. So I can't put those guys in, but carrots are going in. Different radishes, different beets, turnips, rutabagas. I have, what else do I have? Oh, I put in some perennials today. Planted the perennials. So when you have perennials and you have seeds for them, for instance, maybe you just haven't got to them yet and you're wondering, when should I plant them? Yeah, it's great to get them out in the spring or starting them before before the seasons hit. But perennials in their nature are hardy, and they will survive any of the weather. So you could go out there in the middle of winter and seed. Not that you would, but you could just scatter the seeds in the snow, and those little things should germinate in the spring once they hit that soil. Or you can plant in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. So it's really any time is a good time to try and start them. Because of the fact that I have the greenhouse, I kind of can get a kickstart. So even though I'm late for this year, I'm really early for next year, right? So I put some, especially flowers, they take forever to grow, take forever to mature. What else? Oh yes, a lot of chicories I put in today. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm going through my seeds, and I'm just picking the things that are fall hardy, fall and winter vegetables, so root crops, right? Potatoes I already have in. You have to have those in already. Sweet potatoes, you would have already had to do them at the beginning of the year, so not those kind of root crops, but the quick root crops. That's what I'm doing today. I'm going to clean out that coop tonight. This evening. I shouldn't say tonight. This evening. I'm about to get that done. So come join us tomorrow. I hope you do. We're going to be talking a lot about, permaculture. If you haven't heard of permaculture before, that's what we're going to be talking about a lot. Compost is one thing that I've been requested to speak on tomorrow. So I will talk about some of my perspectives on composting. It may not be the same as everyone's perspective, but I'll tell you how I do it and what I think. So, what else? That's it. It's a beautiful day. It's a Friday. Glad that it's a Friday. It's been a long week on many levels. I still have a bunch of chores to do this evening. I've got to pick these, dag nabbit, we got some pests and they're eating my pears. The pears aren't ready to pick. They're early, but I won't have a choice but to pick them because I don't have nets. So I've got to pick them and let them ripen on their own in a basket. Makes me very sad. But if I don't do it, we won't have any. Every day I see more and more, and we're not going to have any by the time we're ready to pick. So that couple of the branches on my nectarine tree broke. So I'm going to see if I can leave those fruit on for a little while longer to ripen. Makes me sad because they're big and beautiful. It was just too heavy. We've had so much rain, and the tree just couldn't support it any longer. And I thinned it out tremendously. I mean, I knocked off hundreds and hundreds of nectarines off this tree. But hey, it is what it is. Nature will do what it's going to do, right? Yeah, just enjoying the sun. A little bit of quiet time. This is the first time I've been by myself today. So I thought I'd get on here and I would talk to you guys. Make sure that you pre-register. Get to JAHealing or JAHealing, their social media pages on Facebook or Instagram, and pre-register for the workshop tomorrow. We have a great time. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here. And we go for a while, and it's not just me speaking at you, it's you getting your questions answered. I will talk about a bunch of topics that I think are important, that are next in line to talk about. But the people that sign up and show up that have questions will get their questions answered to the best of my ability. Yeah, self-sufficiency, growing your own food, growing your own medicine. We saw the bottom fall out of society this last year. And I don't think that it's getting much better. In fact, here in our area, I just went to small scale farms today. And Renee and I, the owner, were talking about just the situation here in Niagara especially, and how she sees it's worse. Things are getting worse despite what everyone may feel or think. Things are getting worse. And it's going to be more difficult for us to be able to access the essentials that we need. It's getting harder and harder for smaller farmers and smaller businesses to be able to stay open and to be able to provide us with our necessities. And that's trouble. Cost is rising. People aren't making the money they were. So yeah, everyone's kind of spread too thin. That's all. And mentally speaking, she said that we're having she sees a real decline in our mental health here. especially. It's been a real hard year. And whether you want to admit it or not, we have to address these things because it doesn't just affect us, it affects everyone in our community. It affects the people around us, and then it affects people on a wider scope. So we've got to address that. And I think that a big step in the right direction is learning these skills to be able to support ourselves in ways that we may not be able to coming up here. I hear it's going to be 5 times worse this year, being able to get your essentials. So growing some food isn't a terrible idea. If you're down with it, if you're questioning whether you want to do some homesteading or permaculture gardening, or, you know, just starting to learn how to grow your own food and medicine, come join us, ask me questions, see if this is a lifestyle or something that you can actually make happen. There are things, like I said, I'm fall planting right now. So there are actually things you can get in the ground now, even if you live up here in Hardiness Zone 6 in Niagara, cold Canada. There's things you can get in and that can help sustain you, at least through the fall and part of the winter, depending on when we get our snowfall, right? But it's a good step in the right direction. And that's all we can do at this point, is step in the right direction. Keep making steps in the right direction. So I hope that you guys join us tomorrow. It's going to be a good turnout. We have a lot of good fun talking, and we can interact face to face, and that's kind of nice, virtually online, but face to face, and that's always great. I can show you in real time what your questions, the answers to your questions. So I hope that you join us. JAHealing, make sure you check them out. A lot of good stuff. Permaculture, look it up. Self-sufficiency, we can do it, guys. Let's pool together and start learning these old ways again. It's things that we can't let go by the wayside. It's things we have to teach to our next generation for sure. You don't know what's ahead. They don't know what's ahead. They've got to be prepared. We would be remiss not to teach them the essential survival skills that they need. It would be a travesty not to. Just saying. So we have to learn it first and show them by example. And that's where we are, especially right now. All right, everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner. Please join us tomorrow. I hope to see you one day out. Fall planting. I have some more to do. All right, everybody, be champions in your kitchen or on your homestead or your property, wherever you are today. Just be a champion. Bye. See you soon.